Greetings to everyone in Newburgh, those at George Fox. Sarah Baldwin asked me to share a little bit about the needs and the issues in Romania and Moldova. Now, these are two very different countries with their own complex histories, but I thought I could give you some general ideas of what's happening in this part of the world. When we first started working here, especially in Romania, we were going into the sewers, spending time with children in the sewers. We were going into orphanages and state institutions, visiting children that have been abandoned, those with HIV abandoned in hospitals. But we've seen a lot of change, positive change in that regards. The sewers have been sealed up so that the kids don't get down there anymore. There's been deinstitutionalization of a lot of the kids, so they're in foster families, living independently. But at the same time, we see lots of problems that have continued. Romania in 2008 was hit, as a lot of countries in the world, with the global recession. Just to give you an idea of one of the very real, practical ways that especially a lot of our friends in this poor community have been hit is that everyone pays 24% sales tax. So on any goods and services, 24%, which is probably a little bit higher than the sales tax in Portland. But that means that a large percentage of people's incomes goes into paying for taxes. One of the major issues that we're dealing with here, both in Romania and Moldova, is migration. Now, they say that 2.7 million people have left Romania in the last 10 years, and majority of, or the county that's been most hit by that has been Galați, the city. In Moldova, 25% of the population have left the country, and you can imagine the implications on a country. The tax base is dissolved, the workforce is gone, not only the brain drain, but also just regular labor isn't to be found. But probably the worst thing that we see are the broken families. So a single parent trying to raise children, or oftentimes both parents have left the children with grandparents or uncles and aunts who don't care for the children. So there's a whole generation of children growing up without parents, without parental care, without the attention that children need. They're very vulnerable, and from this part of the world there's lots of children that have been trafficked because of their exposure. Another issue here in Romania and Moldova is child abandonment. Because of poverty, sometimes because of violence, abuse, mental issues in the home, children continue to be abandoned. The orphanages that are still open in the country are full. They don't have enough foster families. They don't have enough adoptive families for all the children that have been abandoned. And we see many of them come out onto the streets. And I would also just say another effect that we see on the country is due to communism. Although communism fell officially in 1989, the mentality is still here, which means that people are very suspicious. That means that corruption that was systemic in the government before '89 has continued. Even as Romania and Moldova have been transitioning from communism to democracy, they still have an authoritarian leaning system, very top-down, little accountability. And again, the effects on this, on society, is a lack of community, a distrust of community, inability to build community. And all of those have implications on the families that we're working with, and specifically the children.